Hey everyone, and welcome to this presentation. My name is Kelly Marie. I am the founder of the Turned On Evolution, and I'm here with Dr. Adam Sisman, and we're going to be taking you through the journey of the Genius Code frequencies, how they work, what they do, all their magic, and sharing some really powerful stories of transformation with you. So let's get going. So I have been on a journey of healing for a very long time. I was diagnosed with ME and chronic fatigue in my early teens and have many other crazy things going on with genetic issues and detox pathways and chronic health issues. And for a very long time, it stopped me really being able to fully live into my true purpose. And that was one of the most challenging things. And what I found with these remedies is they gave me the focus, the clarity, the energy to be able to fulfill and birth the Turned On Evolution into the world. They help facilitate that process for me. And whenever I find anything that makes a difference to me or people I care about, I always want to share it with others, which is a big part of why I am here sharing these with the world. I'm also a super conscious genius coach and mentor and work with people in the realm of transformation and embodying their true power and their true genius in the world. So I met Adam and came across these remedies and knew that I needed to share them with all the people that I cared about. And we have been sharing these for over a year now around the world, and the impact, the lives that have changed are pretty radical. So I want to introduce you to Dr. Adam Sisman, a great friend of mine and a alchemist of note.
Oh, so yeah, I was a homeopathic doctor for 20 years, and then I decided to develop a system of remedies which kind of dealt with a lot of the stuff I was seeing every day. And obviously, if they get replicated, then you can actually treat more people. More people can actually take part in this process of participating in their own healing. So I developed these remedies to clear a lot of the memory, to deal with the emotional states, to repattern a lot of emotional states, to basically have an entire system of medicine that worked from a psychological point of view, which actually enhanced a lot of the natural things that we have. So this has been the quest, and I'm pretty close to completion of this quest. But the offering as it stands is fairly complete, because we're able to deal with things we would normally have to, move to psychiatry to deal with, like a lot of the trauma from the past, a lot of the emotions, a lot of the stuff that it's hard to often even get to. We're able now to get to and regenerate a lot of these states. So it's a very exciting time that we find ourselves at now, because we're able to take healing into our own hands, which is something we haven't been able to do before this. So that's what these set of Genius Code remedies is really about. It's designed to give the power back to everyone, so that they can run through their process and empower themselves and go through their own hero's journey to get back to where they need to be, to where they want to be. So this is where we are with it, and it's a very exciting time to actually be alive. We have a very beautiful system here of medicines which allow people to really take the power back for themselves and enjoy their journey.
Yes, absolutely. It's super exciting. And talking about the journey, I wanted to briefly share with you the evolutionary hero's journey. Now, this is really important to understand, because a lot of what's happening in the spiritual and the personal development world is people are trying to bypass this. They want to learn a lot of information, and then they want to take that information and then go do in the world. And they're missing going through that transformational portal, like a caterpillar has to go through the chrysalis to come out as a butterfly. A lot of people are wanting to go from the caterpillar to the butterfly without going in the cocoon, and you can't. And so what these remedies do is they support the process of you being on the evolutionary hero's journey, which is that call to adventure, that sense of there's got to be more to life. I want more than what I'm experiencing in this world. And then we often meet the mentor and cross the thresholds. And what I love about these remedies is that they are like that. They're they're like a mentor. They're like having your own practitioner and your own therapist and your own support system right there with you, which is super cool, as well as a community that we have too. And there's going to be initiations and lessons and tests along the way. But also, as you can see here in this third phase, hero partners. It's important in any hero's journey that we go on that we have other people that can relate to us and can be there to support us. And we have a very powerful community of people that are taking these remedies and that are part of this journey, which you can connect with, which is super cool. Now, face your shadow and death rebirth. So the reason we've created these remedies in the way that we have, and we have them in a set called the journey, is because of the fact that we need to die to certain parts of us. And it's not always comfortable when we go through transformation. It's not all going to be sunshine and roses and rainbows and fairy tales. There can be times where you need to rest more. There can be times where a lot of emotion comes up. So we've created other remedies that help to balance this journey, to support you to go through this process in a way where there is more ease and grace in which you can transform and you don't get completely taken out of the game, because life needs to go on a lot of the time. People have families and children and bills to pay, and things need to happen, and we can't just go hide in a mountain for a few months. So these remedies are here to support you to be able to go through this journey in a way that allows you to still be in the world. So again, once you come out of this place, you're transformed and activated. And a big part of what I love about these remedies is that they are helping people clear out so much of the baggage, but also bring them into alignment. And when we come into alignment with who we are, our purpose and our gifts naturally start to unfold. And then we can start to embody them and share them with the world. And that's a big part of what these remedies help us do, which is super cool. So like I mentioned, the importance of getting information, understanding things in the world, doing trainings, reading books, but then we have to go through that portal of transformation and then come into an embodied state. And these remedies really support that process of embodiment. They support the process of becoming more present, coming into the body, helping trauma to dissolve, helping all the unconscious patterns that keep us locked in and keep us out of our bodies. It helps us come home to ourselves, and embodiment is the way forward for this new earth. It's not all about people just moving from their intellectual understanding. It's about people coming in fully so that we can be felt and seen and experienced in our fullness. So the last thing I just want to mention to you before I hand over to Adam and to go into the remedies more deeply is the 3 operating systems of consciousness that I've developed, which is really based on our nervous system, which is the operating system of our humanness. And a lot of the time we actually are very unaware of how our nervous system is responding, and it becomes natural and automated. Now, there are 3 states. The first state down here being locked down, disassociated. This is when you feel disconnected from your body, when you may be triggered in some kind of trauma, you feel disconnected, disassociated, and you're not able to, this is where depression really comes in, and you can't motivate yourself, you can't get going, you feel kind of stuck and lost and not able to fully navigate life in the way you would love to. Then there's so this is very much, it's not a state that people are always in, but people can dip in and out of this. This is a state that most of the world lives in, the autopilot overdrive. This is the state of sympathetic dominance, where the nervous system is very much in fight or flight mode. Caffeine, coffee, sugar, alcohol, addictions, to keep people going, to keep people, being able to function. People are overworking, overdoing it. They're just on autopilot. They're not present. They're not connected. They can be successful in this stage, but they're compromising often their health, their relationships, and they don't feel fulfilled because they're not actually connected to themselves. And then, of course, we have the coherent connected state. This is where we have heart-brain coherence. This is where we come home to ourselves. We feel embodied and we're present in the moment. We're able to be open. We're able to receive. This is where we often receive downloads and insights, where we feel deeply connected to ourselves, each other, and life. And this is key in any healing, in any evolutionary process, is really learning how to come into a coherent connected state. And one of the things that's been weaved into these Genius Code frequencies is supporting your nervous system's ability to be more connected and more coherent. There's a couple of remedies in particular that really support this process, because especially when we've got a lot coming up, a lot of emotional stuff coming up, it can trigger trauma, which can make us disassociate and disconnect, which means we can't heal, evolve, and create powerfully. So we really want to make sure that while we're going through this healing journey and evolving and shifting and transforming, that we are able to come into a coherent, connected state more often, and that helps the body to heal, be in rest and digest, be able to transform, and be able to allow us to be emotionally and mentally stable and grounded, so that we can create and continue through life being powerful while we're transforming. So we're going to share more about the remedies and how that's part of the journey that we've created. So these are the Genius Code frequencies. We have a beautiful range here, and there's a beautiful journey that you can go on with these. Of course, they're all sold individually, but we also do them, we've created them together as a journey to really support you through this portal of transformation. So they are here to support you to clear the path of the past and all of the common rubble and pain that gets held in the body, to really align and activate you, to bring you into connection and coherence, to support regeneration and rebirth, and support your creative inspiration. And of course, we also have the Vision of Youth that's here with the Vision Code too. So let's dive into these remedies. The first one being Liberation Code, which is the one we also recommend you start with when you start this journey. So Adam, if you want to share some of your magic around liberation and why you created this, how it works, and some of the stories of the transformation people have experienced using this.
Okay, well, the reason we put Liberation Code first is that, what we're carrying in ourselves is really the accumulated stories and unfinished stories of the past. Now, Liberation Code is really about finishing the storylines that were unfinished. Now, a lot of the people who took this had dreams of like old relationships or broken friendships or family squabbles, and in the dreams they were making peace with the people. They were kind of burying the hatchet. They were sort of putting it to rest. They were seeing the dead relative. There was a woman who always used to dream about her mother. Her mother died and she never said goodbye to her. And like in the dream, after taking Liberation Code for about 2 weeks, the mother was actually able to come through the clouds and give her a hug. And that's all she needed. She just wanted to say goodbye. And then when she did that, she could actually let go. There was another story of someone who'd been taking Liberation Code for also about 2 weeks, and she'd been fighting with her parents, hadn't spoken to them in 10 years, and then her car broke down right outside their house. So she was forced to go in, and she just saw them. She burst into tears. They burst into tears. And in that moment, tremendous healing happened. So, the main ingredient in this that is really doing a lot of this work is the Navaratna. That's made from 9 gems. Each gem is burnt 100 times, and it was developed in the 3rd century by an enlightened Buddhist alchemists to actually deal with the finishing of karmic patterns. So it's like this, the things unsaid, the fights you had that you broke, and like it's the broken arrows that got stuck in the body and got broken off, and they're still sitting there somewhere. Now, a lot of this does play out in dream space. So people will see the people in the dreams, and they'll have meetings, or gifts will be given, or they'll have resolution. And people often felt that there was a great release in that dream space. Or, what happens a lot as well is like people just pop up from your reality. I had a friend who, she had 3 ex-boyfriends phone her on the same day. The first day she took this remedy, she was like, what is even going on here? It's like, what? All 3 of them, they all popped up in the same day. It was like on speed dial, the whole thing. And she was just watching this as like the body made sense of it, and she got to decide, well, why were they ex-boyfriends? Did she want them to be present, or did she want to go back into it, or did she want something new? And I mean, I forget what she decided. I don't think she went for any of them, but it was just a chance to present her story to herself. It's like, okay, well, you're still running these stories, like what if, or maybe if I'd been with him. And there they were presented. They phoned her on the same day, and she was able to play it out and actually let go of it. So this is how it works. This is how the Liberation Code works. It's a little bit like the Truman Show, where it's like people from your past or from your reality are just put in your face to be dealt with. I mean, I've got a place I go to shop, and like that was my Truman Show place. I would literally feel like people were just being put there, and they'd pop up and they'd just sitting be waiting there, and I would be like, what is even going on here? But then the decision was like, do I want these people closer? Do I want to let go of them, or do I want to have a new interaction with them? But it was just saying like, okay, we'll finish the story one way or another. It doesn't matter what the story is. Either choose to continue it, choose to end it, or choose to actually have a new story. But it
Yes.
was saying, don't leave all this unresolved stuff in the body where it's just like hanging threads that are pulled out of your garments and are just hanging there. Sew it all up, put it back in line so it doesn't get caught on it. And the weight of what gets released by doing this is massive, because we obviously tie up a lot of energy and mental and emotional resources in this unresolved memory. And once we resolve it,
Yeah.
the image I had for myself of doing this was like literally throwing bags of concrete over the side of a ship. It felt like each time I dealt with one of these things, I chucked a whole bag of concrete over the side of the ship. And then after a while, the ship just started to rise in the water. But that ship was me. And then I felt like I had the ability to move and actually deal with stuff. Whereas before I was just going under because I was carrying too much stuff.
Absolutely. I find one of the things that this really supported my brother powerfully. So my brother had been trying to lose weight for, I don't know, about 15 years. And he would just be on, off, and he could never stick to it and never really go there. And I knew why. And it was because he was holding a lot of guilt and grief over the loss of a friend of his many years ago. And that was kind of what triggered him putting on a lot of weight. And so once Liberation Code was in, and it was clearing a lot of that old pain and unconscious stuff that he was holding on to, that's what was blocking his ability. And then also the other remedies, the Immortal Code and the other remedies, gave him the energy and help, and this helped bring him out of depression. He had no desire to want to exercise, to want to change anything. And it's like using these remedies together completely transformed. He's lost over 3 stone now. Like he's like a different person. It's just, I just feel so blessed to know that. And some people are, everyone's on a different level of consciousness. Some people are very much into wanting to understand what's going on in their consciousness and really go in and deal with it and work with practitioners, and other people aren't. And my brother's in the camp of not doing that stuff, and he didn't need to. That's what's super cool, is these remedies have helped him, and now he's more open. He can work with people, but before he wouldn't go there. And the remedies unlocked what was stuck and stagnant for him, that was blocking him being able to lose weight. It wasn't just the food. There was so much emotional trauma trapped in his system that this unlocked, which is so cool.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of people think these remedies are for spiritual people, whatever that even means. But the truth of the matter is, like, everyone has memory, everyone has unresolved stuff, and we're just not really taught to ever to deal with this stuff. No one gives us the keys to, like, well, how do I deal with a friend that's died and I feel grief, I wasn't able to say goodbye, or we fought before them. No one's We're not able to deal with this stuff because we don't literally know how to do it. But what this does is it just sets up the situation, often in dreams, whereby we can play out a scenario where everything's fine. I remember I was fighting with my father, and then I had a dream, and then in the dream we were friends and we were collaborating, we were playing some game together, and just the physical feeling in the body of like, oh, that feels really nice. I was able to shift a lot of the weight of the conflict, just because my body had felt like, oh, this is what I like, this is the feeling, I'm going to model myself on this feeling, I'm going to run with this. And in that, we can use that to sort of nursemaid ourselves back to a healthy interaction.
Absolutely. And I think that's the key as well, Adam, with what's happening here, is it's very multidimensional. It's quantum, what's happening in this. I mean, it has to be quantum if you've got people bumping into you in the store and 3x is calling you. This is working in the quantum field. And when I look at this, the experiences that Samantha's had, she says this, this has saved her life. She's had such transformation in her mental health as well as her physical health. She's had chronic illness and disease, and and had a lot of mental health stuff going on, and the transformation she's experienced and the sense of presence and connection she's able to have now. She said, you know, before it was only psychedelics that could get her there, and now it's a way of being because of, you know, the remedies, which is so cool. So let's look at the next one, Divinity Code. This is one of my favorites. This is actually, for me, what the Divinity Code did is it brought me very quickly, within days, I was getting downloads and insights, rebranded my whole business. Literally, I've restructured in the last couple of months, I've restructured my whole business, the whole way I'm working. And it's because it's brought me into alignment and shown me who I am, why I'm here, and what I'm really here to bring. And that is such an incredible gift.
Yeah, it's a very powerful remedy because this is the golden spiral. It's the golden ratio that everything from galaxies to the human ear to the fetus, it's all built on this ratio. It's like the primordial ratio of reality. It's what music's built on. So, you know, often we go out of sync with reality due to trauma or adverse situations or too much stress or whatever. And this is just reminding us that we're in this beautiful, perpetually expanding flower of life. I mean, there's a picture there of the shell, and we see it in seashells and sunflowers and, you know, galaxies, because it is the primordial expression of existence. And when we take it, we're just saying to ourselves, return on a cellular level. I've amplified this frequency so it's stronger than normal, so that we're telling ourselves that we're returning to the state of like effortlessness, ease, expansion, perfection. This is the message we're telling ourselves. We're kind of coaching ourselves, but we're doing it on an internal cellular level. So we don't have to process it intellectually. We can just feel it cellularly. And then the feeling of this, a lot of people experienced great relaxation. They felt alignment. One woman even felt like her jaw was realigning. It was like, oh, like the face was moving as the left and the right side came back into balance. There's been people who've had, you know, postural shifts from this, because it's like the once the two sides align and work together instead of being in opposition, then we have a much easier path in the world. There's less struggle. There's less need to like push, because we're in the flow of reality. You know, the Taoists call it the Tao, the way. You know, to be in the Tao, it's like you're automatically in the flow of life. And if you're in that, you know, then everything just flows smoothly. Now, people, you know, the Taoists go to great lengths and they do all these breathing practices, or they do all these practices. But when we take this, we're just saying to ourselves, this is our natural state. Everything's in alignment. Everything's fine. There's enough money. There's enough time. There's enough whatever, everything. There are enough resources. We don't have to stress. And in that state of relaxation and expansion, we go out into the world and just do what we were born to do. Like Kelly said, she redid her business. It was like, okay, now this must change. This is how it should be. You know, for myself, I felt a lot of internal calm alignment. When I look inside myself, I just see these endless spirals, and I found myself taking my time. You know, normally I'd be like push, rush, and then I'd be like, well, actually, if I just literally slow down, nothing is a problem if you slow it down enough. And I would just actually consciously slow down the activity that was causing me to stress, and then it all got done. So, you know, that was the greatest learning for me, was around time and what this did around our own sense of time. And, you know, we're in the West, we very much exist in this push, you know, the caffeinated state of like, get it done, produce, you know, time, got to be here at 2, you know, all of that. But when we slow it down, we actually get far more done, because we're far more in alignment with ourselves. And in that, it all gets done without us having to try too hard. And then we can really spend our time developing, you know, our genius states. What came out from a lot of this was people returning and finding their abilities, their powers, the reason they were here in the first place, what they were born with, that they might have had when they were children. But as they're able to sink down and truly relax into their nervous system, they're able to really express what they came here to do. So this is obviously very exciting, you know, in terms of moving forward and like the hero's journey and what we came here to do.
Absolutely. We've got more here from Sam. She's just one of the biggest fans of these remedies. So we've got a few of her in here. And she's talking about how Divinity Code and the stronger 2 versions of Immortal Code, which we're just about to introduce to you, she says they're the most potent and powerful of any healing she's experienced. And I love how she says they're like the elders of all healers, you know, and they travel deeper into her body and help to clear more layers, but also they've helped carry her through as well, so that she doesn't have to lower her frequency and can still keep going for her goals, her end results, what she's creating, without having to, you know, jump ship while she's having to sort all her stuff out. And that's what I love about the journey of working with these remedies, is that it allows you to keep showing up in life and not have to go hide under the blanket and deal with all your stuff. And, you know, not to say sometimes we do need to, you know, we need to have a bit of time out, but that's what I love about them. So here's the rock star of the rock stars of the journey of the Genius Code frequencies, the immortal codes. They are incredibly powerful and life-changing. So I know people often have the most questions about these remedies because of the jellyfish. So if you want to just share the journey of how these are created. And
so the jellyfish, I actually got it from a whole package of them from Japan, live. Obviously they have to be live. And then, you know, it's tiny, this jellyfish. It's like the size of your little pinky, just the end. So under a microscope, they've got these little bubbles where the tentacles join onto the main body. And if you prick these little bubbles, it releases this liquid, which is basically saying to the jellyfish, return to an earlier version of yourself. Now, the jellyfish either gets old and it sends this message back to itself, or gets injured and then it sends this message back to itself. And at that point, it reabsorbs itself. It basically reabsorbs itself and then flowers again. So it brings itself back into its core and then it sprouts again. Now, obviously, we're quite different to jellyfish. We have bones, for one. We have, you know, girlfriends and cars and mortgages and like all sorts of stuff. I mean, maybe the jellyfish have that, but I don't think so. Yeah, I think they're just floating around doing their thing. But so we are more complex structures with more complicated, you know, paradigms that we're living. But you know what this does is it very quickly takes us back, reverses the flow of time. It's saying to us, you're going back to an earlier version of yourself. So I'm going to reverse the process. And a lot of diseases were reversed. You know, a lot of people who had injuries, the injuries disappeared. People with chronic sciatica for years, it just disappeared. My knees were a complete mess. They've been rebuilt. They're fine now. You know, it actually just takes us back to an earlier version of ourselves, where everything was fine. You know, I mean, it's a process. And that's why we've got all three of these, because at a certain point, Immortal Code 1, it doesn't stop working as well because the body adapts to it. And then I've developed Immortal Code 2 and 3 as follow on the journey. And the next two are stronger, obviously, but I've added some mantras into the third one as well, just to create this sense of a change so that we're getting a different message, so we can continue this journey for a year or two. Now, I mean, I'm not back at 25 yet, but I certainly feel like I'm in mid-30s. I'm 52. Yeah, so it's getting there. I mean, we have more to roll back than the jellyfish, which will live normally for a month, and then so it goes through the cycle of regeneration in about 3 days. It goes back to this polyp stage and then it blooms again. But this message, is, I mean, my concern was it going to work on people? And it not only does it only work on people, it works on animals and even plants. You know, there've been, you know, there's Kelly's famous rose experiment where she put it on a dead rose and it's brought the rose back to life. Not entirely back to life. I mean, the rose is clearly dead. It's been out of the water for a while. I mean, but I mean, that's the day on. It's coming back to life. So people have given it to old dogs and cats, and they've watched as these old dogs and cats have just started running around. No, so it is a message of regeneration that works on any biological structure, right? So human, animal, plant, it's just saying return to an earlier version of yourself. Now, there's Stevens, the basal cell carcinoma he had on his head. He took the drops internally and he put a bit in olive oil and rubbed it on his head and it disappeared. Because from a Chinese medicine point of view, cancers are governed by kidney qi, and kidney qi is life force. And as we get older, the kidney qi starts to deplete. So there's more chance of cancers popping up. So when we consume this this immortal jellyfish, the immortal codes, was saying to the body, refill with life. And we see this in many situations where people had more energy. They actually wanted to exercise. People who'd been lying on the couch for 6 months, all of a sudden got up and went for a 10-kilometer run. Or people who were walkers became runners. People who were runners became mountain runners. A lot of people's libido increased radically. It doesn't work so much on male hair regrowth a bit, but female hair regrowth has been amazing. Fingernail growth as well. Everyone's talking about, libido of like a 20-year-old. So this is a sign that these are all things that are governed by this life force, this kidney chi. So we're actually getting more of this substance, right? Somehow we're able to say, I'm going back to an earlier version of myself where I have more of this potency. And obviously this regenerates skin. I mean, I looked at my skin and it moved down from the skin, it moved all the way down through the body. And it literally, the skin became softer. It's like I had a younger person's skin. So, and it's obviously not stopping there. It's working on internal organs as well. I noticed like drinking alcohol, my tolerance of alcohol went way up. It's like I was drinking it. I wasn't even really even getting drunk. I was like, wow, this is amazing. It was like back in my 20s because the body was so strong. The liver was so strong. It was just regenerating things. So there's a picture of Maya, and the fibroids that disappeared. I mean, there have been all sorts of miraculous things that have happened as a result of people consuming the immortal codes, because as we return to youth, a lot of the diseases we experience are diseases of aging and degradation of cellular structures and tissues. And just, I mean, the fact of it is like, as we get older, things start to break down. This is what happens. And most disease processes really kick in when people are in their 50s or 60s, or if they're lucky in their 70s. But, it's hard to defeat the tyranny of time. But with this, we can actually roll back the tyranny of time and return to an earlier version of ourselves and get a much younger, healthier, stronger body. It's really transformed a lot of people, people who were moving towards middle old age, and now they're like, wow, they feel young again. They're able to run around and do what they did 20 years before. So it's been really amazing radical in terms of this.
Yeah, it is amazing. And I also just want to just let everyone know who's watching that there are no jellyfish that are harmed or killed. They are all back swimming in the ocean, happy, regenerating themselves over and over again for eternity. So please don't worry about that.
I took them down to the ocean near me, and I put them back in with due ceremony and all. I put them back for that. It's kind of like I'm returning them to youth, and then I'm taking them back to the place where they can actually just drop to the bottom of the ocean and then sprout again. So, yes, I'm sitting in place the thing that would happen anyway if they were to bang against a rock or if they got old. So I'm part of a process that would occur naturally anyway, with time. So, yeah.
And they bring such a gift to us. So we're incredibly grateful.
Totally. It's amazing that such a little creature is able to do this. I looked at other candidates for it, and this seemed to be the safest way of doing it. It wasn't messing.
No, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So then we have Creation Code. This is an amazing ally with Immortal Codes. It's really a support that really helps people when they do need to drop to the bottom of the ocean. Creation Code helps people to continue to keep their frequency high, to keep their creative energy moving. So this is such a powerful tool in the journey.
Yeah. So, I mean, I developed this one in particular for when people, we talk kind of affectionately about dropping to the bottom of the ocean, but sometimes it feels like we are just going down, and we're called to do nothing or sleep or just maybe eat more than we would normally, not put on weight, just to actually build new structure. But sometimes we still have to look after children or go to work or all the time, none of that ever sleeps. But if we need to feel good on that day or uplifted or buoyant, that's where the Creation Code comes in. Basically, I designed this around my brief to myself was like, okay, let me design a substance that'll give me my best day ever. So I thought, what does that mean? Okay, so I want to be expansive, I want to be open, I want to be enthusiastic, I want to be full of energy, I want to be playful, and I want to be, engaged in the experience. And so all the ingredients in there are really designed around that, including the Dhanvantari mantra, which is about removing disease. Because I mean, obviously, if we're stuck in disease, that's not going to give us our best day ever. But you know, with this, I know I can take this, and it's going to set the tone for like, I'm feeling great. If I have any doubt about my mood, or I really need to be on top form, or I really need to be enthusiastic or engaged with whatever, whether it's with my daughter or in a business meeting, or, you know, dealing with parents, or, you know, work, whatever it is, if I just want that extra edge when I'm not feeling, and I want to ensure that I'm in this state of mind, I take the creation code. Now, there's another way of using this as well. You know, if we take this enough, we almost set this as our blueprint. You know, they say it takes 21 days to change a habit. And if we take this for a month, we're basically saying to ourselves, this is how I want to operate every day. This is my standard. This is what I want to be normal. So we're kind of teaching the body, you know, like when you learn to ride a bike, you learn, and then you can ride it. But, you know, you have to go through that process of riding and getting used to it. So this is kind of the telling the body enough times that this is the state where we're in. And then after a while, the body kind of learns this. I mean, we still take it every now and then, but, you know, after taking it for a month or two, it almost becomes the status quo. And then if we have a bad day where it's not like that, we're almost like quite surprised, because we've learned to behave in this way. As we can have bad moods, we can train our body to be in a good mood. And that's what this is.
Absolutely. And we've got a great story here from Holly, who, you know, really suffered with a lot of malaise and fatigue, and it's a thing of the past, and she's able to be energetic and focused and feels like she's got wings, which is super cool. So then we have coherence code. Again, creation code is also helping to establish a more coherent space in your nervous system, and coherence code is obviously, that's what its main job is, to design to support you to recalibrate, to come into your body, to calm down the overactive state that sometimes happens with immortal codes. They can be quite stimulating. So this kind of helps to balance things.
You know, when we're taking the immortal codes and we're getting this influx of life force, often we're dancing around like rabbits. We don't really know what to do with it, with so much. This doesn't happen with everyone. It did happen with me. I was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I was wide awake. It's like, what am I going to do now? So I'd write, I'd like do, you know, I do lives, I do all sorts of stuff just to kind of fill that time. But sometimes we just want to be able to like turn off and go to sleep. And that's what this is for. Now, you know, the combination of the ashwagandha and the blue lotus means we're relaxing the nervous system, we're soothing it, we're relaxing it, and helping it to adapt to stress more easily. Now, even people who have trouble sleeping, you know, most of them, you know, when they take this coherence code, it'll help them go to sleep, because it just so relaxes the nervous system that we're able to go to sleep. Because so often we're sitting there and like, we're too wired, you know, one way or another, it's either mental or physical, we just can't shut down. Absolutely. But obviously sleeping is an essential part of, you know, healing and regeneration, and we need
Absolutely.
it.
But also, just to make it clear, it doesn't make people sleepy, it makes people relaxed, so they sleep.
Yes,
So you can take it during the day if people have anxiety and feel, you know, like they're overstimulated. You can take it during the day, and it really just calms you down and brings you back into a more present state.
You know, I mean, when we look at it, whenever we're calm, we tend to make good decisions. Whenever we're agitated, we tend to make bad decisions. So this is just giving us a state where we can have that calm to make the right decisions. You know, when we're sitting in an exam, you know, we really want to be calm. We don't want to be agitated, because then we can't even access the information. So if we were to take the coherence code, we could do that, get into the right space, and then, you know, be able to access what we needed.
Absolutely. And then last but not least, we have vision code, which is for people that need a little bit of support to see clearer in the world. So this again is made from immortal code, the jellyfish remedy, but it doesn't have alcohol as a base. So it's able to go into the eyes. So if you just want to just share a little bit more about this one.
Yeah, no, this has been really amazing for things like floaters. I didn't even know about floaters until people started telling me that this was curing them. But I mean, floaters are these little bits of specks where the jelly in the eye becomes more more dense or due to aging often. So what's happening is that these floaters, which are like blobs, which are blocking vision, are starting to disappear in many cases. Now, some people have discarded their glasses completely if they're short-sighted or even long-sighted. There have been amazing improvements. A lot of people have noticed that the lubrication of the eye has improved. I've got a patient whose nerve was cut because she had an eye operation, and this is actually even helping to regenerate that nerve. So the tear duct is now working better. So anything related to the structure of the eye, this will obviously, it'll stimulate the eye to a younger version of itself, but it'll also improve the blood flow to the eye, because that's the other function of the immortal codes. And I mean, obviously the vision code is one of those. Is that it does improve blood flow. So a lot of people reported feeling warmer, right, in winter because there's better blood flow to the system. But obviously the part of the problem with eyes is that as we get older, the veins and the veins and the arteries narrow, and so there's less supply of blood to the eyes, and that's what this really helps with.
And it's also, you know, Susie's talking here about her floaters, you know, really improving her floaters, but she's also got macular degeneration and has, you know, she's actually diagnosed as legally blind, and it's improving her eyesight amazingly, which is such a gift. But we've also had people that have been able to stop wearing their glasses and don't need to wear glasses anymore. So everyone is different and everyone is going to heal in a different way, but it's been quite remarkable.
You know, I think what's important to realize with eyes is that there are a lot of factors playing in with eyes. There's, you know, there's the mental emotional state of not wanting to see. There's the age-related factors around degeneration of the nerves or the retina, or, you know, the vitreous humor, the liquid substance in the eye. And then, you know, there's a blood supply thing. And if it's a blood supply or nerve thing, then this will really help, because it'll regenerate the nerve, it'll increase the blood supply, and it'll also regenerate the cells on the surface of the eye. So, you know, many ways, we can't make any claims about it because it's so varied, and the causes of short-sightedness or long-sightedness or astigmatism. I mean, astigmatism, the shape of the eye changes, so I don't think it's really going to affect that. But you know, if we can strengthen the overall integrity of the eye as an organ, as it does with all the internal organs, then obviously vision is going to improve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about the journey that we have put together for you to really assist in your evolutionary hero's journey in transformation, and really bringing you back to who you are, helping to clear all of the, you know, clearing the traumas and the pains and the aches and the dis-ease and all of the stuff that stops us fully being ourselves in the world. So we have put together the journey 1, 2, and 3, which are obviously based on immortal codes 1, 2, and 3. So you get either 1, 2, or 3 in the journey. And then, as you can see, it also includes divinity code, liberation, creation, and coherence codes. So they come together as a set to support you on this journey, because as we've talked about and as you've seen through what we've shared, they're designed to assist you and work together. So do you want to say anything on that, Adam, before I go into sharing the...
Just one thing, when we're taking the immortal codes, a lot of old memory does come up, right? So it's useful to use it in conjunction with liberation code, because that helps to clear old memory. So as we're clearing, we're not just going back to a more useful version of ourselves. The only way we do that is we almost have to kick the older version of ourselves out, but that older version of ourselves is imprinted on cells. So as it pushes out, a lot of the stuff comes to light, and that's why the creation code and the coherence code are useful. And then using the liberation code to actually clear obstacles that might be sitting there. So it is a journey back to youth, but it's a journey back to youth of yourself. So it's not like it's an intellectual thing. It's often quite a physical thing. So there might be aches and pains where you've injured yourself and it might get sore for a couple of days, but it's literally just the body pushing out the physical memory of that trauma. And there might be mental and emotional states that come up, or old memories as well. I mean, both on the liberation code and on the immortality, they just work in from different angles, but it's doing the same thing. It's clearing the slate, and the slate is all our cells and what they've stored as memory. So this is really designed to go back. The journey the hero's journey is the journey back through your own journey yourself, to
Yes,
yourself, to reclaim that younger version of yourself. But along the way, you have to face
absolutely.
yourself.
Absolutely. And so as it's so as it's regenerating the stem cells and creating new undifferentiated stem cells, the old cells are leaving. So that's why the other remedies help to soothe that process. And also Divinity Code is reminding the body of its true blueprint. So it's helping to bring it into alignment with its true expression.
You know, the Divinity Code is just a blessing on every level. It's such an easy fix on such an absolute level. It can be given to children. There's no bad part about it. It's literally reminding us of our divine nature, the fact that we are connected to everything, we are everything, and that it's
absolutely.
You know, when you look at the flower's not struggling. It's just producing petals, and it drops its seeds, and more flowers come up. It's like it's effortless. There's no idea of the struggle or like lack or deprivation. All of these are all human kind of concepts. I mean, maybe it doesn't get enough sun, sure, but I mean, the flower itself is not suffering. You know, it's just doing its thing. It's just expressing itself.
Absolutely.
But when we return to this, it makes it much easier for us to just be us, which is really what everyone wants to do. They just want to be themselves. And
share our gifts with the world. Okay, awesome. So we do have to make a disclaimer that we are not claiming that these heal, cure, treat any condition or disease. None of the products or the statements we make are regulated by the FDA or any other regulatory body, mainly due to the fact that they're vibrational frequencies and they don't regulate those kind of things. So they're sending a message to the body, and as a result, the body's activating its own healing capacities. So we do have to make that claim. So let's take a look at these. So the investment for the remedies, the immortal codes 1, 2, or 3. So for one bottle, it's $99. For any South Africans that are looking, the prices are slightly different here because we don't have to export anything. So you can check out the prices on the site. Vision code is also $99. Vision code will last approximately 3 months because you're only having 1 drop, whereas the others you're taking about 7 drops. Also, when you receive these remedies, you receive a little brochure that explains to you the best order to take them in. So we show you, like, liberation's good to take at night, the others are best to take in the morning. So all that's explained to you when you receive the remedies as well. So Divinity Code is 77. Again, like we say, you take approximately 7 drops a day. Liberation, Creation, and Coherence Code are all $55 each. Hope you can still hear me. There's lots of rain right now. So as I mentioned earlier, they work together. So we do have the journey. So the journey set is depending on which one. Obviously, if you have Immortal Code 1, it will be called Journey 1. If you have Immortal Code 2, it will be called Journey 2, and same with 3. So the journey set is 3, 4, 1, but when you get them all together, you save. So it's only 3, 2, 1 when you get them as a set. But we have an option for you to be able to order, because some people like to order in bulk. They don't just want to order every month. They want to be able to get more, or they've got family that they want to also share them with. So we do have the option on the website for you to be able to get 1 bottle, like I've mentioned. You can also get a set of 3 bottles, which is going to give you some bigger savings. So the more you get, the more you save. So you can see you save $173 when you get the set of 3. You save $380 when you get the set of 6. You save $625 when you get the set of 9. So there's big savings when you do. It kind of saves up to 25% when you get them in sets. And we also have the auto ships available as well if you do want to get it on a monthly basis and receive them like that. So we do have these savings available to you. Now, obviously, we also have these available on the individual bottles. So you could buy Immortality on its own, or Divinity Code, or Creation Code in sets of 1, 3, 6, 9s, and auto ships as well. But a lot of people get the journey set because they want the journey and they want to be supported through the process. So when you get these savings, you'll see that that there's extra savings when you receive them all together, like I mentioned before. So one of the important things that I want to share with you is the community and the support that you receive when you're on this journey, because some people start taking them and they go, is this supposed to happen? Am I supposed to feel like this? What about if I want to add this? Can I do this? What about this condition? So we have an amazing community called the Turned On Evolutionaries, and we've just launched a separate community portal, which is super cool. You can set up a profile there. It's outside of social media because not everybody wants to be on Facebook. So this community portal is just starting to really build now, which people are just joining. We literally launched it a week ago. And this is a place for you to come and connect with each other, share your challenges, your breakthroughs, your celebrations of using these remedies, ask questions, receive support from the other people that are going through the journey. There's articles, videos, and we're also going to be doing live streams and Q&As in there, and we're going to be diving deeper into some of the remedies on their own so that you can get to know them more if you want to. So this is a really awesome journey for you to take with us in terms of being in the community portal. So we're here to support you, which is super cool. So when you go on the Turned On Evolution website, if somebody introduced you to these products, then make sure you use the link that they sent you. If you go directly to our website, it doesn't matter because you do have to register with us anyway, and you'll be asked the person who introduced you. So you can do that. So I just wanted to share a little bit about our values and what drives us here at the Turned On Evolution. You know, love, connection, evolution, living your genius. Everything we do on the Turned On Evolution is about these values. It's about connection. It's about evolving. It's about coming into alignment with our genius and transforming and healing, but also creating abundance and contribution. And one of the things that I've done most of my life, when I find something that impacts me or that I believe can help change people's lives, I share it. And for most of my life, I haven't necessarily received anything for doing that, but people's lives changed. And I wanted to create a way on this platform for people who love these products and love what we do to be able to share them with others. So I've created a way that you can do that. That's really powerful. So we have the Genius Code frequencies. We also have some products called Tesla's Evolutionary Products, which help to neutralize EMF. And we also have trainings as well that are just recently launched. So we had a Genius Code training where people can learn how to decode their shadow and you know, undo their negative patterning and their blocks and learn how to create from their intuition. So we have, if it feels like you know you love what we do, you do have the ability to earn some extra money sharing them with others, and it doesn't cost you anything to do that. We've got people earning thousands, you know, $500, $1,000, $1,500 a month just on the side around the other jobs that they're doing. But what's also really exciting is that you can become part of a global community. So it's free to become an ambassador. You just need to be a customer of ours. Once you're a customer and you've bought product, invested in any of our products, then you can become an ambassador. You get your own replicated site, you get back office, you can track what's going on, you can access a private section of our community portal, and you can connect with all the other ambassadors around the world. We do these masterclasses and webinars and Q&As as tools to support you that you can invite people to. And you can earn between 22 and 25% commission plus extra bonuses on whatever you share with people. And you're going to get 10% off future personal orders as well, which is really cool. So I wanted to offer this as a way for people to be able to create more abundance, make a bigger impact, and to get these remedies and these products out to more people because they change lives. And so I wanted to offer that to you as a gift if that's something that resonates with you and you love the remedies. So you can find out more on our website, theturnedonevolution.com. You can also obviously go to the Genius Code frequencies page. You can connect on our community, the Turned On Evolutionaries. You can come say hi in there and find out more and ask any questions. And if you want to register as an ambassador, you can find out more about the commissions and how that works, because it's a really lucrative opportunity and people are really enjoying the benefits of that alongside and integrating it, especially practitioners, coaches, healers, leaders, entrepreneurs, body workers. A lot of practitioners find this such a powerful support alongside what they're already doing in their healing modalities. It really supports their customers' journey and facilitates transformation rapidly, which is really exciting. So is there anything you want to add before we say goodbye, Adam?
No, except it's a beautiful journey and it's your journey. I mean, I'm going on my journey, Kelly's on her journey, but it's all about everyone's individual journey to reclaim themselves from the weight of the past and the memory. Everything that's been loaded onto us. It's a chance to throw off these shackles and ditch the junk in the backpack so that we're light, and we're light
Yeah.
on our feet, and we're able to actually do what we want to do. So we're not just bound by the past. So
Oh,
this is very exciting for everyone. So
it
it's
is.
why anyone would not want to do this is inconceivable to me. So
Yeah, it is,
these are
and
the tools.
it's
These
such a
really are the
beautiful
tools.
journey doing it with a like-minded community and connecting with others that are on this path. You know, especially with what's happening in the world right now, we are being called more than ever to step into our power. And what these Genius Code frequencies do is help you unlock your personal power and more importantly, embody it. So many modalities or so much personal and spiritual development is very intellectual based a lot of the time, and it's about understanding, and what's happening here is the body is what is holding so much, and the body is what is being transformed through these remedies. And that's what's so exciting about this journey, is it's bringing people into their bodies, and that's what we need embodied leaders, healers, practitioners, and that's what we're experiencing, and many people are on this journey. So it's very exciting. So come join us in our community, come find out more, come say hi, ask any questions, and you can also reach out to the ambassador that introduced you and ask them any questions, find out more from them too. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to connecting with you in the community. Lots of love.
Bye.